My God. Right.
Well, we're privileged to be talking to Lindsay Urquhart today, who is very well known in all the motorcycling areas of Melbourne and Australia. He was a racer in the golden age of Europe, and travelled around in a van and did all the hard things that blokes did in those days.
All the gypsy things, that's right.
Before it became money and it was a sport, and to me it was probably the best days and the most genuine days of racing.
I think so.
While we're talking about racing, Lindsay, this is a very interesting machine you've got here. It looks as though it's a little bit in pieces at the moment, but never mind, that happens regularly with things like this. Could you just give us a little bit of background how you became involved in Anzani's in the first place?
Yes, well, David Landridge is a fairly unusual name in motorcycles, and in fact they are mostly an aircraft engine company that tried to get into the motorcycle business way back in the 1920s against JAP, and because of quality problems and cost problems they couldn't actually do it, you know, but nevertheless they had a bit of a good lash at it. And one of the machines they first built to try and get into the motorcycle market was built by Temple, one of the racers at Brooklands back in those days. And he set some world records. First bike to do 100 miles in 1 hour, and he was lapping Brooklands at 120 miles an hour. So it was a pretty revolutionary thing.
It was a pretty brave thing to do, because
that's right.
Brooklands was pretty bumpy, and
well,
no suspension on that end and not much on the
well, that's right, and of course, because they didn't run with brakes or anything like that in those days, so it was pretty interesting. But on a trip to England I went to the Birmingham National Motorcycle Museum, and his bike was on display there, all copper plated and looking fantastic, and I thought it was probably the most horniest looking motorcycle I'd ever sort of seen, so I had to have one, you know, and of course they're not the sort of things you just go down to your local Anzani dealer and order it and buy it, you know, so it came to the stage where I had to think about making it. So that was the start of the project. That's how things happened.
How long did it take you? You started off with a few bits, I take it.
Yeah, I started off with a set of crankcases with the appropriate writing and all the rest of it, the printing and stuff. And I met a guy in England while I was over there that had one of the racing motors but nothing else, and he let me photograph and draw all the relevant top-end bits and pieces. So it made it a relatively easy thing to go ahead and manufacture one. So that was the start of the concept of, okay, I've seen it, I've got to have one, what do we do now, you know?
So it really should say Anzani bracket circuit. You've made a lot of them.
Theoretically, I've now made 6 of these motors.
Okay.
So a couple of them are racing in England in hill climb cars, because they are relevant to hill climb cars too. They were used in the day for those. They featured in Morgans and Brooklands too. You know, they've been a fairly reasonable sort of thing to put together. I put them together with modern materials, modern metallurgy, modern thoughts about combustion chambers and so on like that, and modern bits and pieces that you can buy over the counter. But exterior wise, they are identical to the original racing motors. So that makes it easy to maintain, although they've been very, very reliable. Haven't had a blow up.
Really?
Touch wood.
Yeah, this bike here has been very successful, hasn't it, since you put it together?
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of a
well,
rundown of what it's done and its achievements?
Yeah, the first intentions were to put it together as a rally bike, and had it on red plates for quite a while. I went to quite a few of the rallies on it. Then we sort of decided it was going pretty good, so we should perhaps race it in historic racing, and had a couple of riders have a go at it and all the rest of it. And then I thought, well, you know, it looks to go pretty nice, and I enjoy it on the road. I should have a ride on it myself, you know. So over at Mount Gambier they run a seniors meeting every March, and no full-on licence, you just go over there. It's more of a social day than anything, and I was very fortunate that every race it went in and won, you know, so that sort of got me back into the racing again.
The bug bit again, did it?
Much to the chagrin of Katie, of course, like, you know.
She'd be delighted, I'm sure.
Because one of the jokes was that it wasn't really a race over there, it was a parade, and I used to go over there to parade the bike about, you know, and of course when I came back with an armful of trophies, she smelt a rat, you know. Yeah.
Yes, it's very close to the surface, isn't
That's
it?
right.
The competitive spirit, if your bike's
That's
going
right.
well and you're feeling in the mood, it's all happening.
So the bike went on, and in 2 years ago I won the Australian Historic Championship at 72 years of age, you know, you relevant to that too, of course, you know. So, you know, it's an easy bike to ride, handles like a dream, It's very quick. In testing for the Salt Lake speed trials, it's now doing 165.8 mile an hour, which is not bad for an old girder forked thing, and just flaps around.
What's it like then? Is it fairly stable, or
it is? It's
very
very exciting. You know, you sort of got to hang on to the handlebars and do it. You know, because an unstreamed-light bike at that speed is fairly drafty anyhow. But you know, it does perform well, and as I say, on a circuit, it's a fantastic bike to ride. It's a long wheelbase thing. You've got to lever it, and you know, you don't use a fair bit of body English to make it go around corners.
Now, would I be right? I think I've seen you racing at Phillip Island on it.
Yes,
yeah, there, because I remember seeing some pretty spectacular stuff through Turn 1, which is obviously one of your favourite spots. It's a very daunting corner.
Yeah. So that's basically the story of the Indian. The Anzani. I also do other things, but the Anzani is something I can produce myself. I can make all the bits and pieces myself. I do all the patents for it. So if I do have trouble, I have to know the dealer. I know the guy who can fix it, you know, which is fairly handy.
And what's the future for it now? What does the rest of this year hold for it?
Yes, we'll have it. It'll be at the Southern Classic with young Keith Campbell on the thing. You know, Keith Campbell is the nephew of the late Keith Campbell, one of our world champions. So he rides it regularly, and he'll be riding it at the Southern Classic, and that's in November at Broadford. So that's where it'll appear.
Now, we won't wander over there at the moment, but I think you've also got one of these in a four-wheel machine.
I have indeed, yes.
So you're pretty flexible. You can shake your hand to lots of things.
Actually, the motor in the hill climb car is actually the motor out of this frame, and this is a new motor I'm building at the moment. You know, so we've got bits and pieces of cylinder heads in the machine here and so on that are happening for it. And, you know, it's a week away from being completed.
Now, Lindsay, you seem to have a habit of winning. You've won on the hill climb car, haven't you?
Yes. It's set fastest time of the day at Rob Roy 2 weeks ago. You know, like I say, I've never been able to form a queue. Forming a queue is against my nature. So in racing, you know, if you're second in the queue, aren't you? So I like to be a bit
in the front bit.
That's right.
No, well, obviously the Anzani is a pretty good jigger, and I think it's probably more Urquhart than Anzani the success.
Well,
but
you could say that.
But it helps you get there, doesn't it?
It does that at the end of the day.
Yeah. That do?
Okay.
Thanks, boy.